Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of D-List Diaries. Today, we are joined by Kristin Torres, nurse practitioner, owner, and principal injector at Amálie Aesthetics. And we will be talking about what's real, what's new, what's trending in the beauty industry today. So please welcome Kristin.
Woo! You forgot to add also one of my very best friends.
Yeah.
Well, I was hoping you would throw that in there because that is your announcement to give.
That is so true. For a long time now.
An injector to the stars is what I like to refer to you as because you do
Because of
our
us.
injections.
Yeah.
We're the stars.
Yeah, it's because of us.
We're not the only stars, but welcome to the podcast, Kristin. Thank you for joining.
Thanks for having me. Yay. This is so exciting. I love it.
All right, so let's start. Let's give the audience a little background on why we brought you here. So can you give us a little bit of your background? What brought you into aesthetics?
Sure. Okay. So yes, I am from New York. If you can't tell by the accent, it gives it away. Gina thinks she was born there. So
Yeah, I do, for sure. It just brings it out when I hang out with both of you guys, actually.
So born and raised in New York. I always knew that I wanted to be in medicine. I had a really sick uncle when I was younger, and my mom had to change his dressings and stuff. He was a diabetic. So I knew that I wanted to help people. That was the very first, I was 5 when that started. So then I knew I wanted to go to nursing school. I went to nursing school and I knew I loved aesthetics, always, beauty, everything, amazing. But after going into aesthetics for the very first part of my career, I realized, hey, I have to know more than just the face. I really should know the body and just the body systems. So then I did trauma ER.
Casual.
Yeah, casual.
For how long?
So I did that for 5 years. I moved to Tampa. I got my nurse practitioner there. Worked in the level 1 over there, which was pretty wild.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. Didn't know it was going to walk through the door. And then during that, I actually got an amazing mentor when I was in nurse practitioner school that was dermatology and aesthetics. So just total, it just basically brought me back to where I wanted to be. And then once I graduated, I knew that aesthetics was the only place I wanted to be.
Well, we're very happy that you made that switch because we love coming to see you and you do amazing work. I'm not just saying that because you've worked on us.
No, raise your eyebrows? No, right?
I just got freshly toxed.
Me too. Are we on the same talk schedule?
Maybe.
I
think
love it.
you guys are. You're a week apart.
I love it.
Wow, we're like twinsies. And so when I was in New York, this had to be 10 years ago now. And the Kylie Jenner lip filler trend was a thing. I was like, I have to get my lips filled. And I got butchered. I went to someone who, I don't know, was referred by someone who probably didn't even have filler in. And I was just butchered, black and blue, swollen. I looked crazy. I said I would never do it again. And then I went to Kristin and I saw the video recently that we took this. This was almost a year or two, maybe 2 years ago now.
Yeah,
and I was crying because Kristin, you did such an amazing job. You were so gentle. It didn't hurt. I looked natural. And I think that's really way more than just the way you look. It's the way you make people feel. And I love that you do that because it is scary having someone put needles in your face.
Oh, yeah. And I have so many people that even message me on Instagram or come in just hey, I've had this terrible experience. Kristin, the other Kristin, had the worst experience. She was so scared. And I was like, listen, this is not going to be the same experience. We are going to, I'll hold your hand. I'm a hand holder when it comes to that. Unless I'm okay, you can take this pain.
Tough love.
I always say you can definitely see your background in trauma, in ER, because you're the only injector that I've ever had that is truly, I'm I don't know, am I okay? And you're you're okay. You're okay. That's what you say. And I'm you can tell that's just you've mastered how to make people calm in a situation that could make them very nervous. And I'm sure that was tenfold, 10x in the ER because people are losing limbs or whatever is going on. And you're you're fine. And they're am I okay? I guess I'm okay. That's totally the experience I always have with you.
Yeah, I just feel when if I'm not calm, the patient will feel it. And then also that's a very weird state for me because like I said, I did the trauma ER. So if I'm not calm, there's really something big going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody's fine. Everybody's going to get great lips.
That and the bruising. We can go into this later, but I always tell Kristin, I'm you have to market that. That is your for me, the claim to fame is like, I can get whatever done and I don't look butchered when I walk. Like, there's no bruising. Like, I do not bruise when I see you. It's the weirdest thing.
Thanks. I say I have a little bit of a light touch, so.
You do.
Finesse is what I say.
Yeah, the finesse.
I'm like, just have finesse, have finesse.
But it really does show you how obviously you should go to an expert for anything medical, of course, but it goes to show you that you get what you pay for because you do have such good experience. And sure, you could find Botox on Groupon, I'm sure, but there's a reason that you should not do that. And it just shows you how the right injector can change. If someone is skeptical about Botox, fillers, injections, anything aesthetic work, what would you say to them? Because it is nerve-wracking before you've done it the first time.
Oh, of course. And I never like undermine that because I really feel like fear is real. And at the end of the day, if you're fearful, of course, it's like your face. So absolutely. The one thing I would say before anybody's considering doing anything, make sure that you know the credentials of your provider. So as long as, yeah, you just have to vet them before you go into it because people are doing this, like you said, on Groupon, just like on a discount. And it's not usually the best. It's never been the best. I'll never be on Groupon because I just feel like that cheapens our industry. And it also just shows that I don't need somebody to come to me from a Groupon thinking that they're going to jump to another provider. Like I love the loyalty that I have with my clients too. And I would just say before you do anything, like always vet the person that you're going to.
So what are things that someone that like knows nothing about injections, like what are the things that they can look for to make sure that their provider is credible and knowledgeable and good?
Well, first, just licensure, just seeing what their license is. So whether they're registered nurse, nurse practitioner, physician's assistant, physician itself, like those are great. But there are some people that are literally doing it that just do not even have a license behind their name. So that's where our complications are definitely coming from. When you are in aesthetics and you're an actual like medical provider, we have so many different classes that we have to go through on complications, on what could happen. So these providers that are just doing it out of like, who knows? I mean, I would hope that they don't have a solo suite, but even like out of the basement of their homes and things like that for these just random prices. Also, you don't know what products you're getting either. You know, you don't know where they're getting their products. Like medical providers, we order them from compounded pharmacies, from pharmacies, making sure FDA approval, all of that stuff. So if they're not going that extra mile and they can't explain to you the procedure itself, I would say, I'm good. Let's move on to the next one.
I didn't even think of that, about where they're actually getting the product, because I assume you have the product, it's obviously real, but that's not obvious. So I'm glad you said that.
Are there like continued education things? Because I know in our industry, obviously we're not injecting things, but like you can do substantial damage to someone's hair. You can cause tension spots, hair loss, all the things with hair extensions, and that it's the same kind of thing. There are people that maybe watched a video on YouTube and they're just like out there doing it. We don't even have licensure for extensions, so it's like people can't even find that. So I almost have to like go to bat for myself to make people know that I am, like to give them that credibility. So are there like continuing education type certifications that they could look for when they're researching a provider?
Absolutely. So you can see if they have the certifications for, of course, just doing like the normal neurotoxin and filler. But the thing about aesthetics is it's kind of tricky when it comes to that because we don't have to put our certifications out there. So just because she's like a nurse or something like that doesn't mean that they've actually been fully certified. So that's something that if it's in an office, I would look for, or I would talk to them about like, hey, do you have this certification? Because not necessarily does it have to actually go out there like I'm dual certified or anything like that. We do have a lot of trainings, but that's up to the provider to do. Now, I do like continuous throughout the year. I'm actually doing one on functional medicine right now.
Oh,
Yeah, which is so exciting, but it's not a requirement for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's how our industry is.
Yeah, it's up to us to just want to be the best that we could and have the best safety, efficacy, and all of that for our patients, but we don't necessarily have to do it.
interesting. Another thing I just assumed that if you're doing it, you are licensed or allowed to be doing it, but no, a nurse or doctor does not make you necessarily qualified to do that.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
You're qualified because, you know, of course you have like the licensure behind you, but you might not have the expertise.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Is there another big misconception about Botox and filler that you think people should know or should be debunked?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple different things. I would say a lot of people are, just kind of curious on like what age that they should start at. There's really no age to say. I would say the younger the better. I mean, I started at like 22, which might be a little too young for people, but I knew that I wanted to be in the industry. So I kind of wanted to dive in and to feel everything. And I learned by kind of experimenting and getting things done to myself too. Keeping it very natural. Obviously, I've never gone overboard, but I'm pregnant. And I'm like 7 months pregnant. And I look like I had Botox yesterday.
You do.
So it's just because I've honestly kept up with that since I'm younger. So if somebody comes to me and they're, in their 50s or so, we can start, but it just might not get to the level of somebody who started a little bit younger. And, it just has to do with consistency.
Yeah, because there are a lot of people who think, like, oh, they're so young, they don't need it. So are you basically saying even if you don't need it in the moment, it will help you in the future because it is preventative?
It's definitely preventative in certain ways, especially around like the crow's feet, but everybody has wrinkles. So prevention is, we already have them. I mean, even babies, if you look at a baby, the baby can scowl, right? They can make like an angry face. So regardless of what age you come into me for, you have to be, of course, of age to get it done. So we're hoping like 21 and over. But as long as you have some expression in your face, yeah, it's going to be preventative. We're going to be able to stop those wrinkles in their tracks and then just kind of prevent them from getting any deeper.
We should all age gracefully, which is what we're doing, but it's okay to help it a little bit, We don't have to age yet.
Absolutely. No baby oil on the face and things like that.
Baby oil.
People are putting baby oil on the face?
Oh my, well, so
I think I used to wear baby oil when I would lay out.
Oh, to like tan.
Yeah.
yeah, but this is like my mom's era when they were like just holding, I don't even know, like tinfoil to the face
Yeah.
like this and having baby oil on. So yeah, there's a lot. And I just think that right now in aesthetics, I feel like younger people are learning that they should be preventing from their skin from, wrinkles and sun exposure and all that stuff. So I really think that going forward, we're in like the best generations to be healthy and take care of our bodies and our skin, which is incredible.
Oh, the kids love the skincare. Like
Yeah.
my nieces, they do. That's like, that's like a crazy, not even necessarily TikTok. There's like the younger generation TikTok where you have to be a certain age to like be, I don't know if you guys know about this.
Like the Sephora kids?
Yeah,
They
yes.
love the drunk elephant?
They love the drunk elephant. They love like skincare. Like it's like a trend for kids these days. I'm like, might not need the chemical peels and all of that, but
Yeah. Yeah. And you have to be careful because even at Sephora and stuff, like that's not medical grade. So just the percentages of what's in those ingredients. I mean, honestly, I just think that everybody should be going to either like a med spa or just somebody who's knowledgeable about skin, regardless of how old you are, instead of just like going to a drugstore and being like, oh, let me try this. Like it's not really supposed to work that way.
Are there certain products that, because I'm sure there are certain things that at the drugstore are okay, but there are some that should be more medical grade. What are the products that you think should be the splurge?
The thing is that things were actually really harsh for the skin, right? So like everybody was loving apricot St. Ives scrub. They were like, oh my gosh, this smells so amazing.
Oh my God, I remember that.
It's so scrubby. Yeah, but
It's
it
so
was
scrubby.
like 3 layers of your skin. So honestly, you have to just be really cautious about what you're trying on. Some things that are like, this is an exfoliant. Yeah, exfoliants are amazing when they're medical grade, but if you're literally ripping off layers of your skin, that's actually like just abrasion. Like that's not even exfoliation.
The St. Ives, like 3rd-degree burns. I think we all did that though in high school. Come on, that was like a rite of passage.
Yes, we did, but thank goodness we got through it.
Yeah, I mean, our skin is still here, so. Whew.
I have a question because I know for even our relationship, I would say you kept being like, you got to do your skincare. You got to do your skincare. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, I'm lazy. And then I realized once I like, cause you carry ZO. So once I like really started using it, like now I've been addicted for over a year. Like even I stayed the night with Kristin this weekend and she was like, you've got more going on than I do in the bathroom. Like you give me this stuff. So I'm using it all the time. But for someone I think that's like me, that's never done it and you get overwhelmed, whether it be like the cost or the commitment or whatever it is, and you don't see immediate results. Like I'm someone that's like, well, I don't see it doing anything till like 6 months later, and then I'm like, oh my God, like my face
Is a glazed donut.
it's a glazed donut. It looks so good. So what would be some advice that you would give those that are like, where do I start? Like, what should I absolutely have? And then like maybe add in later.
The thing about it is that if you're going to a provider and you trust the provider and you can have that open conversation, let's talk about budget. Hey, you know what? This is my budget. This is what I could be spending. What do you think that the product I can get for this amount would be the best for my skin? And then we can start from there. I love doing treatment plans on people. So I didn't really say anything about this yet, but I own a med spa in Nashville. Which is great because I've actually worked for so many different plastic surgeons and just different people that wanted to, you know, either sell like something that they decided to like formulate that I wasn't feeling that would be the best for my clients and things like that. So now having a spa myself, it basically allowed me to vet and to just understand like the skincare process itself, make sure that I had all the reps come in and to just see all of the skincare that could be offered and then what could be even at an affordable price. So I feel like ZO, what I love about that, it's completely transformative. It's amazing on the skin. I have gentle skin, like my face, I would need something gentle, and it is definitely gentle enough that pretty much anybody can use it. Any color skin, anything like that. So it's really universal, which is amazing, which I love about it. And then there are also products that definitely are more budget friendly. And what we can do is that we can do trial sizes or we can do like small travel sizes. And I do that all the time. And I'm like, hey, come in, let's do a consultation. Let me know what your budget is. Because when you're doing these travel sizes, to be honest, something that might be like $64 in like the larger could be like $20. And before you actually know if you like the product and you want to invest further, at least you can try it out first and then you can just have that budget friendly and then we can go and we can add things on.
But would you say like sunscreen, moisturize? If you had to pick top 3 for the skincare, what would you say those would be?
Okay, top 3.
You're like, let's wash our face, like probably a face wash.
Not face wash.
That doesn't count.
Yeah, so face wash doesn't count? Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Good, because then that would be my number 1, because you should always be doing like a double cleanse, especially if you're wearing makeup.
Can you explain? I actually just started the double cleanse. I'm ashamed to say that, but can you explain?
I'm not double cleansing.
Oh gosh, Gina, you know what? Like honestly,
I was using makeup wipes up until like 3 years ago. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
No, okay, I don't use makeup wipes, but I have the reusable like makeup cloths. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Reusable or the clean cloths, the ones that are just like disposable.
They're not disposable. You like wash them, but they're like makeup removing cloths. Do you guys not know what I'm talking about?
So reusable makeup wipes?
They're reusable, but they're not makeup. It's like kind of like a washcloth, but for your makeup. Like they're specifically made to remove makeup.
But the thing is that you're on great skincare at the same time. So even though that might be doing like the first layer, you're still doing your exfoliating polish, your complexion pad. So you're still adding in the other things that are going to take the rest of it off.
But I should be face washing twice.
I mean, you should just be doing a double cleanse. So what happens is, especially if you're wearing makeup in particular, so the first the first cleanser is going to take off it's not going to get to the oils of the actual skin itself. So it's just going to maybe take off like a very small layer of makeup.
Okay.
Then we're going to dry that off and then we're going to rewash. So then we're going to do a double cleanse to get off all of the impurities. And then, well, back to Nicole's question. My next favorite product is an exfoliant. Mine is exfoliating polish from ZO, but you know, it doesn't have to be that one. It can be a medical grade exfoliant, but definitely just making sure that in the morning we're sloughing off all of the dead skin cells. So we have so much cell turnover at night. So in the morning, we really just want to kind of get that off of us, right? We want our makeup to really be seamless. So anything that's going to be like stuck to the face, and skin cells are one of those things that kind of just build up. We have to get those off. And then I love some type of either like a salicylic or a glycolic or just like an acid that's going to keep the skin really glowy. So that's my third step. And then I usually just like to do a moisturizer that will be very almost like serum like, because we don't want to occlude with moisturizer.
What does that mean?
What's that mean?
For the layman's over here?
What does that word mean?
What, occlude?
Yeah,
Yeah.
occlude.
Oh, just like
We're
to
serious.
compress, just to like really like suppress something, just like to be too occlusive to the skin.
Like clogging almost?
Yeah, clogging,
Okay.
exactly. The skin breathing.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
And then the renewal pads, because that's probably my favorite.
That was the third step. Yeah, that's like that glycolic step.
Okay, great.
There's this one dermatologist I follow on Instagram, and he likes to comment on other people's videos. And it's usually, here's my 35-step skincare routine. And even though I don't really know anything about what should be in the routine, I'm like, you do not need, sometimes people are doing like 6 cleanses. And that can't be good for the oils, and you won't have anything left.
I do sometimes get a little overwhelmed. I'm like, which ones am I actually supposed to be using every day? It's the same thing though with the double wash is with shampoo. We do that because it's like you need to use the first shampoo to remove all the product buildup, any like dandruff, like any oils, all that. And then the second shampoo is like when you're actually getting what the product is supposed to do. So that makes sense.
Yeah, so it like penetrates easily and stuff like that.
Wow, the science of it. I mean, who knew that would just make all the sense?
Well, I can tell you that I am doing a double wash. It's just a little bit different of a step. So that's good.
Okay.
As long as she's getting it done.
Skin is skinning.
So let's talk about the next, what I think is a big beauty trend is weight loss injections. I know you just started doing those at your med spa. Gina clearly is fist pumping for them, but I would love if you could give a little overview of just the trend in general, how you've seen it grow, what you think is, I guess, going on for the future of it.
So I was really hesitant about it. I'm probably one of the providers that have brought it on like later in the game because I was just pretty skeptical. I was like, well, how is this going to help? And how is this going to balance hormones? And I really had to dive into functional medicine. And that's what I would say for anybody that's looking for any of these services, to make sure that your providers are like understanding the body. So we want to do blood work. We want to see where we're like just where our starting point is going to be. And then I'm really specific on who I allow to come into the actual space of like medical weight loss. And it depends on the symptoms. So if somebody has, it has to go by BMI. So it has to basically be like weight based. So if they're over the BMI of what I find is acceptable and they're into the actual program itself, then we start really slow. And some of these places or some of these things online that you can just literally click a button and talk to somebody and you can get medication the next day on your doorstep. It's so scary to me because I think that this medication, first of all, it's a medicine, right? Like we can't just like keep me thinking about it like, oh, okay, I'm just going to go on this shot and I'm going to lose 20 pounds. This is medication and it could be really detrimental to the body if it's not taken correctly, the right dosage, the right time, the right person. So I think that as long as you're going to like a provider, so like for us, we have like the metabolic edit. So one of our functional medicine providers sits you down, you have a full consult with her. We know all about your medical history because there's some contraindications that if you have it, you can't have the medication, right?
Like what?
You can't have like medullary thyroid cancer, a history of it in your family.
Crazy things. Yeah.
Yeah, but things that, you know, not every provider might be asking. So we have to just go over all of that first, what your goals are, what the time frame might be, and then like, you know, if somebody has any history of anything with their bowels, like no, I'm like you're not going to be able to go on a medication that slows down your GI tract that basically like allows you not to like eat as much, right? Like you want to make sure how are these people with their blood sugar when it drops or anything like that. So it's a fad right now and I'm okay with bringing it on just because we do it so safely. But I definitely want to stress that there can be complications if you're not going to like the right provider for it because it is a medication that you're injecting weekly in our bodies.
And then there are things like I've read about Ozempic face and all of these different complications that could happen that I feel like if you're not going to the right person,
For sure.
that can't be monitored. But do you think that this really became a trend much like everything else because of Hollywood? And do you think that's hurting people essentially because people are now like, I have to lose 20 pounds and I have to do it with whatever these GLP ones.
Well, I think that it's just like an instant fix for some people, and they just think of it as like, hey, instead of trying to like eat healthy and exercise, I'm just going to go on this shot, which is absolutely not the way to go about it. You still have to exercise, you still have to eat really healthy. And honestly, like if somebody's just wanting that quick fix, I would say this isn't for them, because it's not something that should be taken just like, you know, a piece of candy.
The opposite of candy.
I was like one of Kristen's first trial gals, I would say, because I was like, I'll try it. Like I could not lose a lot of weight, but you know, I'm down to see what could happen. And I think what I noticed on a very small, what we would call maintenance dose at first, I think I might have upped it, maybe not. You'll have to tell us. But on a maintenance dose, what I had seen in some of my clients that were taking very small doses, it removed all of my inflammation. So can you talk about, I know there's a lot of like people are suspect of like, "Ugh, what is this?" Like, can you talk about the benefits other than just like rapid weight loss, why the shot is pretty cool?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yes, there are definitely positives to like the shot itself. It definitely gets rid of that like food noise also, which I think that you experienced as well, is just the fact that you don't have in the back of your head, like, what am I going to have for my next meal? Because your body is kind of slowing down your GI tract and all of that stuff at the same time, where you're like, okay, well, I'm still full. Like, I don't necessarily need to think about my next meal. So it's actually decreasing like anxieties over that, because I mean, everybody wakes up and is like, well, I do at least, but I'm like, what am
I
I
do
having
too.
for dinner tonight? Like, what should I defrost, you know, which is fine, which is healthy. But I'm also like not thinking about, okay, well, what's breakfast, lunch, dinner, a snack, like not thinking about all of it until like you actually are feeling those hunger cravings. So that's something that's really good about it. It gets rid of that food noise for some people. It definitely helps with decreasing the inflammation. So it takes all of your inflammation away, which we've seen that probably within like the first 2 or 3 weeks that you started it.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I noticed all of like any amount of bloating went down. And I even was talking to one of my clients that's in fitness and I was like, well, what could I eat differently? Kristen, it might have been you I talked to about this too, but like, what could I eat differently that would do the same thing as the GLP-1 in terms of reducing inflammation? And they're like, literally nothing. In our country, you're not going to be able to do that. Like what the medicine is doing is it's truly curing all of your inflammation. And I've also heard research of like it's curing addiction in some cases.
There's so many different trials and stuff that are now going on with it. It just like, it's one of those things. I mean, it's the same thing as like Viagra, right? So Viagra basically started because now everybody knows what it is, but it started because of like a blood pressure thing. And then all of a sudden they were like, oh, these people get erections. So
Oh, wow.
have them on it, you know, and for their sexual health. So it's honestly a medication that is for diabetics usually, but yes, we are seeing what it can do for other people, decreasing inflammation, balancing out your hormones. So it's really helping with hormones too. It's helping with the regulation of that. That's why like we actually are seeing more pregnancies with people who have been taking it. So yeah, I mean, and that's just still research that's still going on. So that's not even something that we can say like, oh, if you take Ozempic, you're going to be pregnant, you know, in a couple months. Like we can't say that, but we are kind of seeing those numbers just like rising.
What is the science behind like the inflammation and all of that? Because I know obviously the weight loss thing kind of makes sense, but like what is it doing that's helping with that?
Oh, like the GLP-1 itself?
Yeah, like what is it that targets that? Because it is kind of crazy. Like I notice it and I can see it a difference in like a week if I haven't taken the shot and then like days later. Like I know even I spent the night, we had a slumber party this weekend. Both of our men's are out of town. Well, half of a slumber party until it stormed. I took Hank home. But even that night I was like, wow, I have like zero inflammation that day.
Was that the day that you took your shot or was that the day after?
No, I haven't taken it.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, since I've given, you know
Yeah.
what? But at the end of the day, Gina, like you're not even like one of those people that needs to like be on it consistently anymore.
Yeah.
We got you to your goal, so like you're where you're.
But I
supposed
can notice the inflammation thing happen. Like if I don't take it for a couple weeks.
It also has to do with hormones too. I mean, it's not just the shot, guys. Like At the end of the day, that's why we at Amálie have brought on functional medicine, because women especially, I mean, yes, men of course too, but women especially, like we hold a lot of water weight. We hold more weight in our like gut. Men have more muscle than we do. So there's like so many reasons to why we have to also, yeah, okay, we could maybe be taking this, but also like what's happening like from the inside? Like what are our hormones doing? How's our estrogen? You know, once we go over the age of in our 30s, which is crazy. 30s is like the new 20s. So it's wild to me that, you know, we have to worry about like thinking about our hormones and our regulation that young, but we do. And I think that that's like one of the perfect things about the inflammation of the shot too, is just that it does help balance out those hormones. So if you're really paying attention to what's internally happening to our bodies, we're going to start feeling better, you know, like everything's just going to start working, but you have to work with a licensed professional in order to do this. I can't stress that enough.
I love it.
It is so interesting that a drug that's mostly taken for weight loss is leading to higher fertility rates because, you know, obviously you gain weight during that. So that's ironic.
We'll see what happens in a couple of years. That's kind of like one of those things that we'll see what the trends are of like what happens. And if the birth rates go up, then that's, I mean, that's an incredible thing, you know, or maybe it's not for somebody who doesn't want to be pregnant. So let's see what happens.
Well, and I think there's a lot of, at least like when I first started hearing about Ozempic and you know, tirzepatide or whatever, the different shots, there was a lot of like suspect around it, like, oh, they're on the shot or this and that. And now you're like, oh, wait, there's like so many different benefits once you actually research it and so many perks to it.
One
Yeah.
shot works on one receptor, the other shot works on two receptors. So there's so much science behind it now, honestly. And just like how Botox was the original neurotoxin, then there's like Dysport and Zeman, like that's what's happening also. So we just have to like be mindful that we're doing research before, because I don't know, I think there's like, what is it? It's like Retabutide or something. Like, there's like all
The new
these
one?
names. Yeah, it's like a new one because obviously they can see that this is lucrative as well, right? So, I mean, I think even Kourtney Kardashian was like, I'm going to make a GLP in a pill. I haven't heard of anybody using it, but I mean, you know, you just have to like just be cautious about what we're putting in our body. But I think it's good things. I really do. I was very skeptical in the beginning and I didn't have my at my med spa, but now I actually, but it also is because I have a functional medicine provider too. So it's not just like we're, you know, being cowboys and we're just trialing things.
So her functional medicine provider, Nicole, fun fact, is married to one of my friends from high school.
That is a small world.
Like good friends. Yeah. He was one of my close friends.
Like just wild.
Yeah. She's awesome.
Yeah, she's great. My team is really great. I have a wonderful team. I cannot complain. So honestly, I couldn't be more proud of my team that we finally built. Because Gina, how many people have we
Oh my
gone?
God. We just like spin through these, like, I think that Kristin and I have been like kind of on the same wavelength of growth, and we both being entrepreneurs, it's like you bring people in, you get excited about them, and then all of a sudden you're shocked. You're like, what just happened with this person that I thought was so amazing? And they just like rocked my world in the worst way. Like we're just trusting. Yeah. And we finally, I think both of us are in a position where we have like pretty small teams, and it took us like a year to get very selective over who we're letting into our culture and our space. And we're both in like good places currently, at least.
Yeah, exactly.
For today.
Yeah, for today.
And in the beginning, I was like, you want to work for me? Oh my gosh, of course. Like, absolutely. Like,
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm so grateful that somebody wants to come and work for little old me.
Yeah. And then you're like, why do I have you?
Yeah. Where I'm like, actually, I can say no to you. Like,
Yeah.
this is not going to do well for the business. And this is not going to, like, you know, you don't have the culture that we might want or something like that. So it's really exciting to, I think, where we've gotten that we can actually kind of, you know, say no. And saying no in aesthetics is very important, by the way.
Have you ever had to say no to clients?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've said no to Gina, probably.
Except for when I tell her that I want a dental block. That's the only time.
Yeah.
Do you say no more because people come in? Like, have you ever had people come in with unrealistic expectations where they show you like Kim Kardashian and they're like, make me look just like her?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Plenty of times. Or I'll have somebody just come in so overfilled and before we do anything, like it's dissolver, right? Like even, like we did the same thing. I was like, I'm not putting anything more in your lips. Like we need to dissolve. I want to make sure that I'm proud of the work that gets put out there and that you look as natural as possible as youthful as possible, but a little bit enhanced. Sure, that's fine. I don't want people thinking like, oh, what did they have done? We just want to like age gracefully in this time of our lives. So I find that saying no honestly builds that trust with the patient. And so many people that I've said no to have been like, wow, okay, well, let's explain why I'm saying no first, right? But then if I'm just saying, you know, your lips, like let's look under the lip, let's see where filler has been placed. It's in your wet border. We have to dissolve this. Like I'm not going to overfill this because it's just going to look terrible. So just building that trust with patients I find is so important. And saying no, honestly, I feel like builds trust even faster than saying yes to every patient.
Yeah, I love that you make it kind of like a journey, because so many people want to come in and get something done and they're like, "Oh yeah, I want my lips done," or whatever it is. And for me, like I hadn't had a ton of lip filler put in. It was just to a point
Poor
of like,
placement.
yeah, it was poor placement. And so it's cool that you can have like a fresh canvas. Like you can be like, hey, let's like take all of this out and start over. Cause I feel like sometimes people don't know that. They're like, oh, I've had this done and now I'm like stuck with it. Whereas when you go to see you, you're like, not really. Like we can dissolve all of this and like start
Yeah.
from scratch. So yeah, I love that. I don't love the process of dissolving. That really sucked, but that's okay.
Better than looking crazy.
We got to find the video of, because have you dissolved before, Nicole?
No, my botched lip job was completely out when I went back to
Oh my
Kristin.
God. So we dissolved mine, and your lips, like what, Kristin, you have to explain why they do this. They literally blow up like a balloon.
I have the picture somewhere. They're like 4 times the size. And you're literally talking in the video and you're just like, "Rrr."
They're huge. They're like balloons on my face. It only lasts for like 30 minutes and then that goes away. But it was pretty crazy. I looked crazy. We'll have to find the video.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever asked for anything like really out of this world that you said no to?
Just something that like I don't feel comfortable injecting, or like what kind of question?
Yeah, like has anyone ever come in and wanted something that's not commonly done, but they're just like, I want, I don't know, like filler in my earlobes or something that is just, I don't know, like something weird.
Earlobes, actually.
You have?
You can do filler in the earlobes?
Yeah, if somebody, especially when you're wearing those like really heavy earrings and they get that big earlobe itself, like the actual piercing is just hanging, I actually fill around it so that they can get that like really plump little cute ear back.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, who knew? Yeah, there's plenty of places that you would think is like taboo or like whatever, but we inject it.
Yeah, you can do it. And if you're a guy.
Yeah, if you're a guy, we do that too. Yeah, get some girth in there and a little length. I mean, good for you. You know what I'm saying?
Where is a place that people wouldn't think to get filler that you think is a good place to get filler?
So I think that place, thankfully, it's beginning to be a little bit more of like the norm. But whenever you increase the size of like your lips, I feel like your facial balance has to be increased too. So the chin to me is chef's kiss. Thank you. Yep, there she is. Beautiful chin.
Beautiful.
We love a chin filler.
We love a good chin. We love a good filler. It just has to, everything just has to be proportioned. I just find that proportion so incredibly important. And if you're not doing enough units or if you're not doing enough syringes, it actually looks worse than if you should be putting in like the appropriate amount for your face. Because some people are like, oh no, I only want half syringe. And I'm like, okay, well, that's going to do nothing. Like it's going to absolutely do nothing. We're not going to have any facial balance from that. So you have to be like mindful too that just because you're telling like a provider, you don't come in and tell a provider how many syringes do you need.
But people do that to you all the time, I'm sure.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, you came to me because you trust me, right? So trust me and let's just have the most beautiful outcome.
And a full syringe, was it you that told me that's like a blueberry?
Oh my gosh, it's like half the size of a blueberry, literally.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's so minute. And that's why, you know, when somebody's coming to me and they've never had aesthetic work done, it really does depend on like the age. So if they're in their 50s per se, I mean, I need at least 1 syringe per decade, 1 to 2 syringes per decade.
Oh.
And that will just look normal for them. It won't even make them look overdone. I mean, unless somebody has like a bony feature, you know, like that's different. But for the average age, it really is 1 to 2 syringes per their decade of life.
That is a good tip. I just wish there wasn't so much of a stigma around anything aesthetics, because I feel like there's so many misconceptions. Because when you say chin filler, my immediate reaction is like, Jay Leno. Like, you don't want to go in and come out looking crazy, but that's obviously
I
not.
have like 4 syringes in this chin, like literally, maybe 5.
How many do I have?
A couple.
I love that you don't even know. But that's where the trust comes in. Even when you say like GLP-1s or Botox, I feel like everyone's first reaction, unless you're actively using them, is, oh, I don't want to get work done. I don't want to have to take a shot. Like, I want to work hard. It's like, you can still be on a GLP-1 and eat healthy and exercise. And you should. I'm sure that's part of the recommendation. So, and even with Botox, like you said, with skincare, you're still supposed to take care of yourself. These are just enhancements, as we love that you call them. But I feel like because there's such a stigma around anything to do with medically enhanced aesthetics, that's where all of these crazy ideas come from. And I think that's why people are scared, because they think, oh, I'm going to look like this. I'm going to look crazy. I won't be able to move my face. I can move my face.
Also, I just think that aesthetics has come so far. So I've been in aesthetics now for almost 10 years. And what I used to know, like, so what I learned in the beginning from what I know now is so completely opposite. So I think that that has to do it too. So like, for instance, I can give you an example. When I was first learning how to do filler in the nasolabial folds itself, like in these little smile lines, we were putting the filler directly into that area. Well, now we know with facial balancing and just understanding, just like the evolution, thankfully, of aesthetics, that we need to lift first, right? So instead of putting something that's going to make you look like a blowfish or something that's going to actually like, you know, protrude the mouth or anything like that, we know that we have to lift instead of placing it in an area where it's just going to look heavy. So aesthetics is forever evolving. That's why, like Gina's question before on how important it is to have that continued education, because if I was still doing that, my patients would literally look like just like little baboons walking around now. You know, like we would just have the blowfish look, and nobody wants that.
Baboons.
Little baboons.
But
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Like when we used to get the chin filler and you just like had the baboon cheeks
Yeah.
in your face. Speaking of that, I have a question too, because I have had years ago, probably, I mean, this probably was close to 10 years ago. I'd had filler under my eyes because I was naturally a little hollow, like a little darker under here from, I mean, I remember like my 8th grade pictures. I looked dark. Like I just always felt like I needed concealer just to brighten it up. And we did the PRFM. So I'm always like telling my clients about this because I don't wear foundation. No foundation. I wear a little BB cream and a little bronzer, and that's it. And so I credit that to your incredible work, good skincare. But tell the listeners about PRFM, or what's the difference in PRP and PRFM? Is it the same thing?
No, actually, there are pretty big differences there.
Yeah. And what is it for? Because it's like natural filler.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So basically, PRP is going to be your platelet-rich plasma. And that's what we used to, this is another thing about like evolution of aesthetics. So that's what we used to use if we wanted somebody to like decrease a little bit of that hollow, to have a little bit more of that collagen production underneath the eyes. Because what was happening is that filler under the eyes is just so... I would say there's just like a time and place for it, and not everybody's a candidate, right? So many people were getting it done that weren't candidates, that were blocking their lymphatic ducts in their system so that they were having like this incredible just like swelling, or you can see the blue, which is called like the Tyndall effect if the filler was placed too superficial. So it's really an area where you have to just be so finessed with it and just have so much tenderness and care with the under eye, because it has that thin tissue. Now, the reason why I love PRF, so PRP used to be what we would use, and then we pretty much went to PRF, which is adding in, I mean, it's calcium chloride, but we were just adding something in. It's an additive that'll make it a little bit more gelatinous. So it will come into having almost like that. It's like a little bit of a thicker, it's not exactly like the same as a filler, but it's a little bit less than that. So it's a little bit, I can't even explain it. It's just like a little bit gelatinous, right? So basically when you place it, instead of it just dispersing into the tissue like PRP did so fast, it actually stays there underneath the skin. And it produces your growth factors, but it gives you that in like a timeline. Instead of where PRP, it did that right away. This actually has like a time release system where it actually increases your benefits incredibly.
I literally want to quit. I want to sell the salon. I want to work with you. I love all this. Like so in.
I love it too. I love when I'm just like learning new things. So now at Amálie, we actually just got like the biogel part of it. So we pretty much have We have everything. We have PRP, we have PRF, and now we have biogel.
Wait, sorry, this is all stem from your own blood?
Everything. Yes. It's just 3 different ways to do it. So then this third step is me heating it up to like 72 to 78 degrees and creating a filler out of your own blood, which is insane. I mean, I didn't even know that this would ever come about in my lifetime, but now we have this that literally, if somebody just wants, hey, you know what, I'm wanting filler, but I don't want an HA and I don't want Sculptra or I don't want anything like this. I want to use like my own body. How can I do it? And now I'm like, yeah, perfect. Let's do it. Like, absolutely.
Incredible.
You can get those amazing results, and that'll be your own growth factors. So it's going to look natural. It might take a little while to actually stimulate, 6 to 8 weeks, but it's going to look beautiful. A couple of treatments of that and you're golden.
Yeah. So the guys out there that are like, you don't need to be getting that stuff. You don't need to be getting filler. You could be like, it's actually my blood.
Don't even get me started with men. I mean, thank God I have a husband that's like so incredibly supportive. First of all, it's what I do for business. So if he wasn't supportive, like that would never
Couldn't work.
Yeah.
It would never work in a relationship. But meanwhile, no, Brian's amazing. He literally, with this second location that we're building out, he's like trying to grind down the floors and he's putting up the curtains.
I have a client whose husband, well, I think ex-husband now, like she talked him into becoming an injector. He worked in the medical field and he is like an injector now. And you probably know him, but like he's like used to be a baseball player. Like he went from working as like a major league baseball player to becoming an injector, and he does trainings and stuff too. But I think that's so funny. No, my boyfriend's definitely the one that's like, you don't need to get filler, you don't need to get that. And then like clockwork, every time I get Botox within like 12 to 14 days, he's like, you look so pretty today. Like I get so many
That's so
compliments and
funny.
I'm like, yeah, it's because my Botox set. And he's like, no, you just look really good today. Like well rested. I'm like, yeah, it's my Botox. So I've been trying to talk him into it.
It's not the taboo. Men get it all the
Oh
time.
my God. And how do I talk him into this? Because I think he would end up loving it, but he's like the Jay Leno thing. He thinks he's going to come out looking like a real husband
Yeah.
of
It's all
OC.
part of the stigma. Like you don't need
Yeah.
filler because you don't know. I don't need filler that's going to make me look crazy. Sure.
Yeah. You like me because I look like me. Yeah, I look like me and you've liked me since I've had this. So,
And I would just say with men, I love to just start them off really slow. So right now, honestly, like Brian actually got a facial last week at the spa. So just starting them off small and just getting, maybe let's do a facial first. Let's get on some skincare. No man is going to do 6 steps.
my boyfriend loves skincare. He
Okay,
loves it.
perfect.
Yeah.
Well, then great. Maybe he does want the 6 steps. But some people I just have, okay, let's start with 2 steps and let's go from there. And then they'll ask, well, what can I do, to decrease these lines? And maybe instead of doing the whole face at once, we start with one area. So we'll start with around the eyes. Just kind of like getting into baby steps, I feel like is best for them. That's the way that I think that men will start to trust you, understand that they're not going to feminize because they don't want to look feminine. And then once you get them past that, they're like, oh, okay, well, this is just going to make me look great. And I'm not going to have those wrinkles that maybe my dad has that, make him look so aged. So I just think that they have to just dive in just with their like little toes. Just put your toes in.
Yeah, we're going to have to work to get him in for a facial. He's not going to do
Yeah.
that. He won't even get a pedicure. He's like, I'm
Well,
not a
he
girl.
likes skincare. So skincare is
He
the
does like
first
skincare.
step. So then, yeah, he'll love a facial. He'll love a facial.
Going to surprise him. What about Chris, Nicole? Would Chris get some talks?
He doesn't need it because of course he's a man who does nothing to take care of his skin and has perfect skin, but he's gotten a facial with me before and he liked it. But he does have dry skin sometimes. And of course we got the facial and the woman's like, oh, you have such nice hydrated skin. I was like, please don't tell him that because now he'll never believe me when I say you need a skincare routine.
Right.
We're working on it.
We'll work on him too.
I trick him. I give him lotion before bed every night to put on his face. It's the least we can do. It's something. I'll take it.
Yeah. Chase likes the moisturizer, but he's using Oh, but I have to get him some skincare because he uses mine, and when he's not using mine, he's using like the Walgreens.
Oh gosh.
So we gotta fix it.
Can't be wasting, not wasting, but if he's using yours, then that's less for you to use. So he needs
I
his
know,
own.
that's what I'm saying. He needs his own so that he's not like just kind of using mine occasionally and it's like not doing anything but just using it up. But he has what is it? It's like Dollar Shave Club or whatever that is. That's his moisturizer. So I'll have to get him some trial sizes.
Yeah,
We'll get
he'll
him
have
started.
a little travel size.
Yeah. I was over at Kristin's house, Nicole, and she had the travel size and I brought in like the big guy. And she's like, I love that you have the bigger ones and I have the travel. And we started laughing because we were like, oh, as entrepreneurs, like we do not take home our own product.
No.
If I can sell it to my clients, it ain't going home with me. And so it was like, I have like all these random shampoo and conditioners and I love Milbon. That's like what we carry. Then I'm like putting everyone on this regimen and I don't have the Milbon. I've got like the Color Wow because it was on my shelf from 2 years ago.
Well, yeah.
And I got to use it up. Like I don't want to throw it away.
Oh yeah. That was really funny. I was like, you have bigger, because she has like this huge cleanser and mine's like this big. And I'm like, well, I get mine from my rep.
I'm not giving anyone stuff that I could, if I could sell it, I ain't taking it home.
You also have easier access to it, so you can refill your little travel size.
Yeah, we just take home the ratchet stuff that we're like, if you can just give me a sample.
Have a sample.
That's so funny.
Cracking up.
Oh my gosh. I forgot to ask you, we were talking about the blood filler, as I want to call it. Is that something that can be used everywhere that regular filler can, or just under the eyes?
Yeah, no, you can use it all over, anywhere. Cheeks, nasolabial folds, marionette lines, under eyes, pretty much all over. I mean, I don't know how I feel about like in the lips. Some people are doing like lip. I just don't think that it's really going to give any type of like result. Will it hurt you? No, but I just think that if you're doing filler appropriately in the lips, that you'll get a really beautiful natural result anyway. So, but you can put this absolutely anywhere.
Because I did it under my eyes, again, like 2-ish years ago now, and it was incredible. But you do it's something you need to upkeep, right? I need to come back in. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you do.
Sorry.
I keep forgetting.
So I like to do, if I'm doing anything like under eye or anything like that, I like to do 3 treatments, like 4 to 6 weeks apart. And then you can do, depending on how hollow you are, you might need another, package of that. Or we might just be doing yearly maintenance.
Sorry, we need to come in.
Yeah, I need my yearly maintenance, but it's okay. It's okay. We're just covering it up.
I wanted to touch too on the Sculptra because you're out here.
Oh yeah,
making juicy booties. Tell us about that. I know you can use it in other, like in the face too, right? So what is Sculptra?
Oh yeah, I'm like Nashville's booty queen over here. You can put Sculptra in other places. So you can definitely put it in the face. So it's going to be a biostimulator. So it's going to stimulate synthetically like your own collagen. So you have this, I use it as like an analogy of planting a plant, right? So you have these seeds, which is the particulate of the Sculptra, and then you water it by having what's called bacteriostatic water inside of the actual product itself. That's how we mix it. And then you'll be doing your facial massaging. So once we actually place the product, it's kind of like the seeds of the plant. And then you water the plant and you love it and put this TLC into your massages and everything. So in about 6 weeks, your own collagen begins to produce. And then, yes, that's another way that biostimulators are going to be, it's already a game changer. So it's going to stimulate your own collagen. Whereas you won't have to put the filler in that area. You can actually just stimulate your own and you can have more of a natural look, which is beautiful. And you can place it in areas where you shouldn't place like filler. So like preauricularly, which is like right above in front of the ear, where it's amazing to have Sculptra placed there because it really gives you that pullback, kind of like a little mini facelift. Whereas if you put filler there, it might be too thick and you might actually see the product itself.
Baboon face.
Also love it for the temples.
Okay. So then what does it do for the butt? It makes the butt bigger?
Yeah, it's going to stimulate that collagen. So basically like those hip dips or anything that we have, any curvature where we don't like. I mean, we love a curvy booty, but sometimes like there's an indent or something like that, or even cellulite. So Sculptra's amazing for cellulite too. But it's really good for like those hip dips and just those areas of concern where in a bathing suit, we're not like our most confident. So I love Sculptra.
How long does one full treatment last?
So it depends. It's all about your body's production of collagen. So, I mean, somebody can say 1 to 3 years, somebody can say 3 to 5 years.
Oh, wow.
It's honestly, it really is just dependent on what your body will produce. And also how many treatments you have. So if you have multiple treatments, then it's going to last longer because you're stacking your treatments, right? So it really just depends on what your maintenance is too.
So many options, but they all sound like good ones.
Yeah. I'm like, we got to work on this butt over here, but I'm so scared it's going to hurt.
You literally have like,
Yeah. Gina, please don't lose them buns.
No, not the size of my butt. I think that I definitely, like we talked about my veins, and then I've had cellulite since I was like out of the womb.
Yeah, but we all have cellulite.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm good with it.
I mean, it's not even like a bad thing anymore. I honestly feel like
I don't really
they
care.
don't even care. Like they're
Yeah.
like, oh, cellulite? Okay. Like
Guys don't even notice it.
If I can't see it, it's not my business to worry about what's behind my legs.
nobody's looking at that. They're looking at other things. Okay.
Yeah, like the butt I can see, but my cellulite, if I have to really reach around, look in a mirror to see it, it's too much work for me, so I can't care.
No, don't care. That's so funny. I always just wonder. I'm like, I mean, should we try it? Like, that's always my with Kristin. It's always just like, I mean, if it's there, like,
Yeah,
I'm like
why
always
not?
the one like, why not? Just do it.
Yeah. Just let's give it a go over here.
Not gonna hurt.
It's not going to hurt. And it's not going to look fake or anything like that. I keep everything really natural. So that's one of the reasons why my patients come to me so much, is just because I don't make them look like, you know, the next cat,
Next who?
you know, like that cat feline face, like the ones that like have like,
Oh, like a cat.
Cat who?
I'm a person, but I was like, that's just not nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. We get it. We get it.
No cats, no baboons,
No,
No cats, no baboons, no blowfishes.
no blowfish. Yeah, that's a big one.
none of that. None of that.
None of that. We don't
We
have
love
time for
it.
any of that. Yeah.
Kristin, in the past 2-ish years, you have started your med spa, gotten engaged, gotten married, built a house, brought 2 puppies into your life. You are now 7-ish months pregnant, and you're about to open a second location of your med spa. How do you do it all?
That sounds really exhausting. I'm just saying. So to be honest, I just think that that's my personality. I have just had this entrepreneur-like personality ever since I've been young, and it was my dream to always just go after like my goals, right? And my dreams. So I just feel like I just tackle things on head first. And if any time this would ever fail, I would be just happy that at least I tried it, right? At least I tried. At least, you know, at the end of the day, like I put my heart and soul into this. So if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I mean, jump for the stars. If you miss, you know, you'll land in the moon or something like that anyway. So.
Something like that. Something you go
Something
somewhere.
like that.
We're in space. Whatever.
Yeah, we got there. No, and whenever I think that I can't add anything more to my plate, I'm like, you are adding children, dogs, houses, all of these things. So it's okay.
And
We can add.
smiling constantly,
Yeah.
like, whatever.
I get that question like I probably maybe 3 times a day. People are like, how are you doing this? I'm just like, you just have to do it. At the end of the day, like the time's going to go by anyway. So spend it doing things that you love. I mean, like there's like the whole engagement and the marriage. Well, that was a man I loved. And then I created this beautiful baby with him. That's, a child that we'll love. And then I have this med spa that I absolutely love my patients and everything. And I put so much just care into it. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, just jump into it. Time's going to go by anyway.
It's a great note to end on. So thank you so much for joining us. We loved having you, and we learned a lot. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
So hopefully our listeners did as well. But where can people find you if they want to see everything that you're doing and ask you any questions?
Perfect. So you can find me on Instagram at Enhanced by Kristin. I also have the business one, which is at Amálie Aesthetics. And then, I mean, I would love for you guys to just come in and see me too. So there's going to be 2 locations. So we have one in Donaldson, and then we also have one opening now in Brentwood, Tennessee. So super excited. Let's see where it goes. Maybe we'll have a 3rd one in a different state.
Ooh, you heard it here first. So if you're in the Nashville area, go see Kristin and get some things plumped, because she'll take good care of you. And thank you everyone for listening. We hope you enjoyed what you heard, and follow, like, subscribe, do all the things, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.